The world is growing ever so close to World War III now, and the staging ground is not going to be in Ukraine like I think some people are probably thinking right now with Russia and Ukraine. It's going to be in Taiwan, and it's because of the importance of Taiwan, really, of why that's going to happen. China has alluded to a one China policy ever since Taiwan, since the Chinese Communist Party won over China, and the anti-communist party in China fled to Taiwan. China's always believed that Taiwan is a part of China, and still upholds that to today. And they actually have it in their constitution, I believe, that they will take back Taiwan by any means necessary, whether that's through peaceful reunification or through force. So it's going to happen eventually. We just don't know when it's going to happen. I'm going to kind of go over why Taiwan is so important to keep out of the Chinese hands, Chinese Communist Party hands. Starting off with semiconductors. Taiwan produces roughly 65% of the world's supply of all semiconductors and around 90% of the world's most advanced microchips. These are the chips and semiconductors that are used in not only everyday tech that we use, here, not only here in America, but all, throughout the entire world, and in our technology, whether it's our phones or whether it's, whatever it may be, phones, TVs, computers, all that. But also in, military equipment, the advanced military equipment that allows, precise weapons and all these advanced weapons to, keep us safe and everything that way. So it's a very, very important part, when they're providing that much of the world's supply. It's, if China is to take over and take over that, that's putting not only everybody, especially the U.S., who's a leading world power right now, in a very vulnerable state when it comes to military equipment, and especially the advanced stuff. Having to go through China, who is definitely not a friend, not a friendly, to American policies right now. They're definitely one of our enemies right now. They're getting very, very aggressive towards not only Taiwan, but other regional countries in Asia. The other part is Taiwan is a part of what the U.S. sees as the first island chain, which was originally thought of when we were in the Cold War with Russia, starting with around Japan and moving down through Taiwan, the Philippines, and down into Australia. It is a way for the U.S. to kind of borderline blockade the enemy countries. It used to be Russia from entering into the Pacific, and now it's more of China, able to keep China out of the Pacific, using those friendly countries and friendly territories there from Japan all the way down to Australia as a way to kind of hold China near their area, so they can't really have a whole lot of influence outside of their own area, really. China is also becoming very aggressive in the South China Sea, which is building artificial islands and using them as military bases. So they're getting very aggressive, and not only Taiwan, but in not only towards Taiwan, but throughout the other regional areas. And it's important because China's building up. They're not doing this just because they believe that they're doing this because they're trying to build up for that. They're gonna invade, attack Taiwan eventually. We just don't know when. But these are kind of the two biggest reasons anyway, or a couple of the biggest reasons why I believe Taiwan should be fought for. Taiwan's also a functioning democracy, Western style democracy, which is a big big thing for America. America always supports, Western democracies. True freedom. They have true freedom. They can be able to, vote and do what they need to do, and do what they want to, vote for who they want to, in that way. And it's something that's important. The U.S. is very big on, because that allows us to have very strong allies with those countries. We don't really have those kind of allies. You can't have allies that don't have the same political ideology that we do. It's very, very difficult, and it's going to lead to very strained relationships without. So that's why it's important for the democracy, and that's why I think defending Taiwan is very important, and it's something that I got a feeling that it's coming. It's very, very soon. With the American political landscape right now, I would not be surprised if it happens within the next couple of years. I believe there was a report from some military leaders that were talking about possibly within the next year of China invading Taiwan, and a lot of that probably because of Russia's current involvement in Ukraine, kind of taking a lot of the eyes off of China and Taiwan, and that's why I'm kind of thinking it's happening very, very soon. The biggest advantage that Taiwan has is really only two periods throughout the year, about a 3-week window in I believe it's around April and October, about a 2 to 3 week period in those 2 months, that China can actually pull off an invasion because of the weather in the Taiwanese Strait. So that's the biggest advantage they have. So they'll be able to kind of know when that's going to happen. It's not going to happen, this year, but it definitely could happen in the spring or in the fall. There's really two periods there where they can happen. So that's the biggest advantage that they have. But it's also, like I said, these are the reasons that I believe that U.S. should get involved in defending Taiwan, because this is a very, very important nation. It's a very small nation, but it's a very, very important nation or area that needs U.S. help if it comes out of that. Taiwan is going to fight tooth and nail to keep their country, and they should. And I agree, they should. But the U.S. needs to help them any way we can. And I don't necessarily agree that we need to send all our troops over there, or whatever. But we do need to try and help them in any way we can, whether that's like we're doing in Ukraine, to send in equipment. I do think that if it comes down to it, and they actually do invade and get troops in Taiwan, I do believe that U.S. probably needs to send troops to liberate Taiwan if they're able to actually invade Taiwan successfully and actually do. And the numbers are probably going to say that they're going to eventually. If they really do, China has the population, has the numbers. They're going to throw enough numbers at it, they'll eventually do that. That's why the U.S. needs to help Taiwan. They will actually, and that's why I believe they should. But Taiwan is the powder keg that I have a feeling is going to ignite World War III. And it really just depends on how much China and their allies want to escalate the situation in Taiwan. But I have a feeling with their, the way their belief system is, they can't go on. It's a threat to the Chinese Communist Party to allow Taiwan to exist the way they are. And that's why I think within the next couple of years, it's going to happen.